Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of My Story with me, Prince Joki, and I'm the one sitting today in the chair for my colleague Lola Chapi. She seems to be not visible today. I know it is Friday. I don't want to be asking myself a lot of questions. While this show shares real life stories, a story of people like you, and also spotlighting the impact of humanitarian work in the Republic of South Sudan. While today we kick things off with a special guest, and his choice of dress has a story in itself. Welcome you to the studio. You're most welcome. Maybe first your name and.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Dominic living Wawa. I am the founder and executive director for Kikiji National Orphanage Center, a former street boy who lived on the street and who survived. But by the grace of God, I was able to come up from that life.
I like your start. What's the story behind it?
I want to tell you that, today I'm putting like this. It doesn't mean that I don't have what to wear now. God had been so much gracious. I was told that when Mama gave birth to me, 3 months later, Mama ran mad. She became mentally mad. And then as a very young child, I remember that time it was during the crisis of this country, during the war. And then my grandparents had to flee with me to Congo, and their life was very, very hard. In fact, and no one was there else to breastfeed me, not until when my uncle's wife took me up from grandparents, and she had to give me the first breast milk that have made me to live up to now.
And in which year was that?
That was way back in 1995. Yes, 1995.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at who you are today, Dominic living, can you tell us your life story or your life testimony right from childhood up to this far that you are now the Dominic living that everyone is talking about and everyone knows?
Thank you. Today I dressed like this. Today I'm like this because I'm just trying to flash back where I came from. Putting like this today, it doesn't mean that I don't have clothes to wear. I thank God that currently God have helped me, have provided me with what to wear. But I am putting like this just to remember back where I'm coming from. As I said, I am once a street boy. I was one boy who lived on the street, who slept on the verandas, who slept in hotels, who went to bed always empty stomach, who wake up each morning not knowing exactly whether I will eat or not, who slept on the street for nearly 2 years without a bedsheet to cover with, who was washed once by rain. Why that happened? Because I was told that when Mama gave birth to me, 3 months later, Mama ran mad. When Mama became mad when I was 3 months old, it was my uncle's wife now who took me and who breastfeeded me. That's why I'm called the living. Mm-hmm. My cousin had to give me that name because in the village, no one believed that I'm going to survive as a 3 months infant child, as I was. And then I was told that when my uncle's wife, who shared her breast milk with me from that year, really did an incredible thing, because I was by then not called the living, by the way. They told me I was called the Kenneth. Mm-hmm. I was called the Kenneth. And then why the Kennedy changed it? The Kennedy changed it immediately during that period of the 3 months. Because when my cousin came back from school, everyone thought that maybe I am going to die because of the lack of breast, of milk. Mm-hmm. That it's there to breastfeed with me. Mm-hmm. Therefore, because of that, my cousin, whom I'm told that he loved carrying me that time, whenever he carries me, he just do call me living, you will live, this boy will live. Whenever people say, is it true that this boy is going to survive? But he had been always positive of saying, this boy will live. And then people end up saying, Domindo my longolongro are living. You want us now to call this boy living. Mm-hmm. And that is how the living come about. Mm-hmm. And that's when I got this name living. And as you asked the how, what resulted that I went to the street, because later on when I reached a certain year, which I don't know, which I can't remember, which I was not as well told, because I came from this very humble family who have no people who have gone really to school. I came from that literate family background, and then most things about me no one remembered. Even my date of birth, no one remembered. I had to give myself right now. When I grew up, and then I had to decide to give for myself. I had to pick a month. I had to pick a date as my date, as my date of birth. Currently, as I live. Therefore, when he's staying with those of grandfather, because as illiterate people, education was not an option for them, was not really a priority for them. That's now, which have really hurted me so very much, because I could see other children go to school, I'm not going to school. I could see other children dressing up, I was not having that opportunity to dress. I could see parents loving their children, but to me, I can see nobody is there to me. You see, I could see children playing with their fathers, with their mothers, but to me, that is just another lifestyle. Another lifestyle. When I looked around, I see that no, with me, I don't have anybody that is there with me. I had to decide to leave home. I left the grandfather, I left the grandmother. I took up a decision by myself.
And at what age was that?
I can say maybe around 10, 11 years. Okay. Around there. I had to leave and went to the street. Yeah. And I lived on the street.
Apart from, you talked about education as being a priority that you've seen that the people or your grandfather were not valuing that made you to leave home. Apart from that, there are the challenges that you've encountered before you could leave your grandfather's home before you go to the street.
Yes, a lot of them. I am one who have never worn any other new clothes, not until one Ugandan man by the name of Bruno bought for me my first new clothes. A new cloth that someone bought it from the market and they had to give you. It was not until 2010. That is my first time to put on new clothes. That is my first time to put on new shoes, bought for me by that Ugandan man called the Bruno. Mm-hmm. And then because of this, every Christmas celebration, you know what it means in our villages. Every Christmas seasons, you see people celebrating, children putting on new clothes. You see children living well with their parents. But to me, that was not there. I was really not seeing that cycle of environment, and which really tortured me so much. I'm sorry to say, not until I had to attempt committing suicide.
God forbid.
Oh, yeah. But I thank God that God had to save my life, because I had to ask myself many questions. What is the reason as to why I'm living here in this planet Earth? Why am I to live? If you don't have an opportunity to go to school, you don't have an opportunity to find the love, you don't have an opportunity to get the basic needs, just like other children. I am one who have a very poor educational background. I did not write exams from primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, primary 4. Since I was born, I've never entered that class called the primary 5. I started my primary school in primary 6. I attended only primary school for 2 years. And that is me.
And that one happened when you left your grandfather's home?
Yes, when I left. Because when I left from there, I left with no education. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about education. I tried. I remember when I was in the school, I remember going to school, because that time there are no school fees payments, mostly. Mm-hmm. But in the village, you pay school on grains. Or at times you go on the farm. You go and do farming. You farm to the teachers. Mm-hmm. Yes, at times, like every Wednesday, children go on the farm for teachers. Now, weekends, parents will go on the farm. I tried one day, I farmed for the teachers, mm-hmm. the first week.
For the sake of school.
Yes, for the sake of school. The other week, now they need the parents to go on the farm. And I don't have parents.
Oh my God.
I had to go and represent, you see, my parents who are not there to go on the farm. Suppose so that I get that opportunity to sit in class. But I remember that time, when I went to that field, because what they do, they measure for the parents. If they measure for you 1 meter to 20, you have to finish. You must finish today. And I could see people finishing. I was not finishing my own. That really made me now to leave completely, because I saw it is something that I cannot afford. Mm-hmm. And that is what really resulted me want to easily think to take off my life because of that hard life that I went through.
You're on the street at this tender age, no love from the parents, neither going to school. How's life out there? How's life in the street?
The street is a very dangerous home. The street is not a home. The street is a very dangerous thing. If you see anybody, any child living on the street, you should have pity in your heart. Ask yourself, where is this child? Where is this person sleeping? Where is this person going to take cover when rain comes? Ask yourself, where is this person eating? Ask yourself, where is this person going to go when he's sick, when he feels sick? Which hospital will he go to? Ask yourself, with whom is this guy sharing, or this child sharing his issues to? That is a street I found, a very harsh street, a street without love at all, a street where you are seen as a criminal, you are seen as a thief, you are seen as a beggar, a street where everyone sees you as you who don't have future. That is life in the street, very dangerous one. I remember one day being washed by rain. I was sleeping because at the time I could choose the hawker places to sleep. Why the hawker? Because in the hawker at the time I could find bed sheets to cover with, those small pieces to cover with. As I was deep in the middle of the night, a heavy rain fall. That heavy rain that fall washed me on that street. Remember, I don't have a changing cloth. The only clothes I have is what I have in my body. And that night, I had to undress myself and I went naked. Naked. I remember living on the street. One day I went to beg. I begged. I could not find food for 3 days. Not until I became a thief. Yes, I became a thief so that I can survive. I had to go do those things just to find an opportunity to live so that I can live. The street is not an easy thing. Today, whenever I move the streets of this country, when I see children on the street, my heart bleeds because I know what they are going through in silence is very dangerous. And by the way, when I was on the street, no one even wished to give you an attention to listen to you. That is the streets that we have. And where I lived was not far, was Yei. I lived in the streets of Yei. And I can tell you when I was on the street, I'm not saying my parents are, my relatives are bad, but no one came for me. No one bothered to come for me on the street. That is life. Not until no one cares whether he's eating, he's drinking, he's wearing. No one cares. That is the street to me.
It's really a touching story. Now, looking at you, Dominic, of recent, it's well known that you are now not the Dominic that used to be in the street before. I made to understand you run an orphanage at the same time, you do other things at the same time. How did you come to, to transition from that state of being in the street, helpless, hopeless, and today you look somehow different?
When I was on the street, a stranger came on my way. God brought a stranger on my way. When I went, because when I left when I was on the street, remember I stole someone's clothes. This is the fact. And then, which made me to now live in hiding. I was now living in hiding. Now
he was looking for you.
Yes, he was looking for me. I just believed that this guy was looking for me. And whenever he looks for me, when he arrested me, when I was taken to prison, who will go after me? You see, that kind of life. And then I had to put my mind that no, what I have to live, I have to now live in the areas. I no longer go to the Oka. I no longer have access to the streets again. I hate now to live. I hate now to live in hiding. And then that living on hiding, hunger was not leaving me at all. I can tell you, if there is any teacher that I know, the first teacher I know was hunger. Hunger. Hunger is very dangerous thing. And I had to go now in the area begging for food. Not until I landed to one woman's house after staying for 3 days without eating food. I went to her veranda. I slept there and remember begging her for food. And may God bless that woman, Rose. She's called Rose. I don't know wherever she is now. How I wish I would find Rose. Rose helped me prepare the dagger fish for me. When Rose prepared that dagger fish that day, Rose asked me not to go back to the street. Rose prepared a sleeping place for me. There, I slept from 3 p.m. not until 11 a.m. the next day. She was worried why I'm overslept. I told her, since I was born, I've never slept on mattress. Because when I was with those of grandfather, I was using antelope skin. That was my mattress. The first time to sleep on mattress was in Idati, Rosie's house. Now from Rosie's house, that is when God helped me to connect with this stranger who now came on my way, called Henry Sebit. Henry Sebit is not from my tribe. Henry Sebit is one man from Bar Al-Khazal, a Balanda by tribe, whom now picked me from that struggling kind of life. He took me to his family. In his family, he don't have much. In his family, Sebi had a shelter where he gave me, because Sebi's children were not going to school. Sebi was unable even to pay his own children to go to school. And it is there that Sebi gave me shelter. And it is there that Sebi started teaching me about a man. He told me, there is someone who loves you. And I was eager to know who is this man. And they told me that man is called Jesus. That's when I knew that, oh, this man is a pastor. And he gave me the word of God, building me up in his family. And then it is in the family of Sebi where I got an opportunity to go to school. It is in the house of Sebi that I stayed for 8 years. And let me tell you, I'm not saying my relatives are bad. For the 8 years that I've been with Sebi, no one from our family have seen him up to today as I talk. And then I remember in 2014, after finishing my secondary school, I went to Sebi and I asked the Sebi one night. I love writing. I asked the Sebi, how can I repay you back for the good thing that you have done to me? Sebi asked me, Daddy Dominic, if you know that what we have done for you is important, Dominic, go and do to others the same that we have done for you. Today, the work I do with the Kikiji National Orphanage Center, I am paying Sebit for what he has done for me.
That's actually a great way to give back to the society, especially the man who introduced you to Christ and also that woman who
I'm
gave
just
you
giving
your
another
first shelter.
Dominic who is in your community an opportunity not to go through what I went through in life. That is why I had to establish the Kikiji National Orphanage Center.
When did you establish it?
The orphanage was established in 2020. In 2020 in Ye. And it is a family that right now I'm giving an opportunity to 118 children in the orphanage. These 118 children that currently are under my care, giving them food, giving them education, giving them love, are children from different backgrounds. I was shocked when I came to realize that these children are from 18 different tribes of this country. That's the work I'm doing now. I had to dedicate myself and offer myself to go back and save another me, another Dominic, so that they should not struggle the way I'm struggling. I have very poor grammar. I'm telling you. Why? Because I did not go to school. Today I use pencil for writing. Why? Because I struggle at times in writing. So that whenever I make an error, I can easily rub it. That is the whole thing. And I don't want the children that God have blessed with us in this country to go through similar stories that I go through. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Jokey, these children we see today on the streets, these are leaders, these are demonstrators, these are great people. These are people that can change this nation. When we have other people like Sebi who can go and help them, regardless of where they come from. Yes.
I made to understand running an orphanage, it's not an easy task. How do you manage to secure the finances that you help these orphans? As you said, you have nearly 200 that you're helping up to now.
Running an orphanage, as you said, it is very hard. And I've seen it. Today, Kikiji National Orphanage Center, we don't have any donor from outside. Oh. I use my music entirely. I use my music to mobilize resources, to help these children, to give them a chance. I move from one office to another, knocking doors. At times you will end up knocking 50 doors and only 1 or 2 will open for you. And it is from these collections that we use it to help with these children. But thank God that 2 years back, I had to realize that no, talent have power. And then today, we did talent identification and development. These the same children whom are seen as if they don't have talents. We identified that these children have indeed talents. Today, in Kikiji National Orphanage Center, we use the talents of these children to generate resources that will help them. We have children in Kikiji National Orphanage Center who are acrobats and gymnastic performers. They are very good performers. Now we take them. I at times I bring them to Juba here. At times in Yei there they do perform. And from this small collection, this is what we use as well to at least help them acquire education and they have basic life for themselves.
Yes, Dominic, I understand you being in Juba. It's almost 2 weeks now you're in Juba.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks now.
I'm informed you are soon dropping a book. Can you tell us what inspired you to write the book and what are readers expecting out of the book?
Where I come from is what inspired me. I came from very harsh background, knowing that there are other children,
Can we see maybe the book, how it looks and the cover looks?
This is the book.
Uh-huh.
This
put
is
to
the
the
book.
camera. And
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is the book.
It's a growing without my parents.
Yes, growing up without my parents. This book is full of information. This book is full of hope. This book is full of knowledge. Mm-hmm. This book carries voices of the other many me who are currently on the street. This book is my personal life experience of really growing up without my relatives, who are my parents, of having no opportunity to study, of all that I've gone through, and of how I was helped, and what that help have done in my life. Mm-hmm. Today, my being here in Juba, I've come so that we want to launch this book, knowing that this book will do 3 things. Number one thing, we want to see that this book is able to spark a conversation about the children, about the state of our children in this country. The book should be able to make our community realize that indeed we have children on the street, but the children, when they are helped, they can do something. And I want to see this book being able to bring together in one place stakeholders, our leaders, our able people who have resources that can change lives, to come together and they see how they can channel their resources towards helping these children. I'm telling you, I'm not a prophet, I'm not a pastor, but I'm telling you that who knows, maybe the future president of this country is on the street.
And when are you planning to do official launching, maybe publicly or?
The official launch of this book is going to be towards the end of next month. Towards the end of next month. That is why we are looking into people who want to be part of the launch. And I'm here to make sure I visit and I move the offices.
And the venue is still yet to be
communicated.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to communicate that very soon.
Yes.
And it's my prayer. It's my prayer that during that time, I wish you will be as well part of that.
Sure,
Yes,
obviously. Before maybe we go for a short break, you pointed something so amazing, like you starting, to run the orphanage without any help, and you pointed out you also do music, as everyone knows. You do music, and you say music is one of the tools that support these orphans. Is it the reason why you ventured into the music just to raise these children, or music has been what you even thought of, like, oh, it has been one of the potential or talent that God has gifted you with?
When I was on the street, the only person I communicated to is called the music. The only person who comforts me is music. The only person who makes me at times cry is music. Music is a friend to me, a friend whom I met when I was on the street. I communicate with on the street. And music became part of me. If today you listen to my music, nothing more about hope restoration, nothing more about edification, nothing more about encouraging individuals to remain hopeful about their future. That's the music. That is all about my music. And then seeing that my music can change life of others. When I was on the street, I had friends. Friends where I started singing for myself, firstly. But after, I saw other friends, they started liking the way I sing. And that's why I had to share. And today, knowing that, because I remember when I first staged the song Kikiji in Uganda, I saw people crying. When I went and they picked one of the boys crying, "Why are you crying?" He told me, "I'm crying, I'm an orphan. I was sent out from school because I did not pay for my school fees. And then 3 weeks to come, they are going for exams." We picked a basket. I put the basket in front of the congregation and asked the people to come and help so that this boy goes back. Today, as I talk, the boy has finished his senior 6 through the local resource mobilization. Therefore, I had that feeling inside me that no, that means I can use my music to not only consult lives, but as well to impact life physically. That's why I use my music entirely to mobilize the resources to help this.
So interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, you're still following my story right here with me, Prince Joki, and my vibrant guest, Dominic, living Wawa, and he has been telling us a lot about his life history right from childhood. It has been so inspiring. We are breaking for a while, and we hope to be back shortly before we summarize. Welcome to RD Studio, where passion meets the lens. Every shot starts with a vision, every frame captures a feeling. Today, we are diving deep into emotion, expression, confidence. This is more than a suit, it's a story in motion. At RD Studio, it's not just about the final image, it's about the energy in the room, the connection, the raw moments in between. This is what passion looks like when you frame it just right. RD Studio captures the moment, creates the magic. Welcome back, viewers. We are still continue with My Story program. Yes, back to the discussion based on your life story. You being, from the street, has been a street child up to now. As you said, you're already taking care of nearly 200 orphaned children. On your own, do you have children or do you have a family besides, helping those helpless children in the street?
Yeah, I'm married. I'm married to one of the beautiful uh, girls around. And I thank God that God have blessed me with a family. God have blessed me with 3 children, one boy and 2 girls. And today with them, we are happily married and we live together with them. And again, I have a big plan for these children in this country. I want to see that the Kikiji National Orphanage Center is not only in here. I want to see that very soon we want to establish another Kikiji National Orphanage Center in Wawa. We want to establish another Kikiji National Orphanage Center in Bor. And then we want to see that all the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas, we have a home for these children, a home that will give love, a home that will give education opportunity to these children. Because number one thing in Kikiji operates with the 3 things. One, God. We tell these children about God. Number 2, we tell these children education. We give them education. These children we see today on the street, these children does not need much. Give them education. You have given them everything. Everything. Today, I am now buying clothes for myself. Today, I'm providing to my family. Not because of anything, because of the education I acquired. Therefore, I have this strong belief that if these children have a family, we should give them education.
Earlier on, Dominic, you did mention that your dad passed even before you could see him. And how did that feel to you? And how does it, feel? How do you feel about it?
Thank you. I didn't say my dad died. I said I've not seen my dad.
Okay.
I've not seen my
Okay.
dad. I grew up as a ghost, as a child who have a ghost father, who have not seen a picture of him, who have not known his voice, who have not known his touch, who have not known how brave my dad was, who have not tasted the love of a father, who have seen other children enjoying their parents. But to me, his name was a ghost that people used to whisper around. And that is about it.
But all along, did you try, to search where he could be, like some people can do?
Oh yes. Like any other person you wish to see who is honestly your dad. One day in our village, when I was very envious. One day when I saw a chicken playing around with the chicks, and how he provides to the chicks and how he protects and that. I asked my grandfather, why is this cuckoo protecting the chicks like that? He said, no, this is how family is to be protected. And I had that symbol that, no, I believe when my father was to be around, he could easily maybe provide some protection, or maybe provide for my education, or maybe provide for my basic needs, which was not the case. And then when I looked around, one day they told me that your dad is Mr. So. I went to that Mr. So. Do you know what happened? That Mr. So said, no, you are not my son. And then given a fact that my mother ran mad when I was still 3 months, as I said earlier on, Mama could not tell me who my father is, because she ran completely mentally so much disturbed. At times, even we grew not knowing her muchly, because she could stay in other towns, not really staying home. And I have my brother who follows me now, my little brother who follows me, whose father was not known. was not known because Mama got the sickness got the pregnant of him when she was already in that state. And that is life for us. Maybe God intended.
Meaning you were only two in the family as children.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Today we stay with my followers.
And do you still know where your mother's whereabout is?
Oh yes, I knew where about is. She's today with me home. Guess what? Something happened so ridiculous and miraculous. When I was in senior 3, I was sent home because of school fees. On my way home, I had someone calling for my name. Guess who was that? My mother. Having nothing on her chest. And God is very good. Yeah, very good. And yeah, today, sorry. Sorry, yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, maybe before we go and summarize, it's so interesting, to look at this book. It really looks nice. And it would be so interesting, like, to know how long did it take, like, for you to come up with this big book here? It has a lot of content inside. How long did it take you to come up with this book?
Thank you. As I told you, this book contains everything about me growing up without my parents. And this book speaks volumes of the other Dominics that are currently in our communities, in the streets of our country. And this book, I had to devote 29 months of writing. 29 months. Because as I told you, having the poor education background, having struggling in writing, having no opportunity to go to those good schools so that I can easily write, I really struggled to see that I'm able to come up with this book today. And then this book, I looked for people that will help me in this country. I could not find any. I had to connect with a friend from Nairobi who was able to help me in the editing part and the publishing. Therefore, the book is published in Nairobi currently. And as I said, this book is going to do 3 things. 1, this book is going to spark a conversation about the state of our children in this country. This book should speak. This book should reach to the hands of the able. This book should reach to everybody who is able to read, to know what other children are going through in this country. Those on the street, what they go through. As I told you earlier on, that life on the street, being as a street boy, is not an easy thing. Though few people care about, but most don't care about these children that we see them today on the street. This book have an answer to that. This book is calling for more Sebit. That is Sebi who adopted me from the street, who is not from my tribe, from Bar Al-Khazal. I am from Equatoria. Who picked me regardless of where I am from. We want to see that this book is calling for more Sebis in this country. That we need to have so many Sebis that should come out from our community so that they are able to help more children. This book is calling for more Burunos. That man who bought for me my first new clothes. Because I used to pick clothes around and things like that. Therefore, this book, as I said earlier on, carries hope, carries inspiration, carries knowledge. So far, I've read it 37 times, reading this book. I've read it for 37 times. And it is very simple book. I use the English that I know, the English that everyone can read, so that those who want to give up in life should be able to read. And I am praying that this book is able to bring stakeholders together, be in the government officials, be in the church, be in the religious body, from the Christianity to Muslims, be in the business sector, be in the international partners, be in influencers of this country. We want to see that these people are brought together through this book to discuss about the state of our children.
So interesting.
And then again, lastly, by the way, I've forgotten. I want to see that this book is able to help us continue supporting more other children. What does it mean? That means whosoever is going to take a copy of this book, you are changing a life. When you take a copy of this book, that means you are already changing a life of a child. You're already taking a child to school. And then, as I said earlier on, that we want to see that many other children are helped, because these children that you see today on the street are potential guys. So when Sebid helped me, he didn't know that one day this Dominic is going to take care of other children. He didn't know that this Dominic one day is going to get married. By the way, in our village, when those days, when you tell any girl that Dominic is your husband, the girl will start crying. Why? Because how can a street boy child become my husband? How do you want this person who have no education? You relate me to him. Therefore, these children on the street, as I told you earlier on, our next president of this country, the future president, is on the street. No one knows. Therefore, we want to help that future president out of the state, out of this state, so that he comes up.
Maybe finally, how many copies have you got so far? Maybe also if the people who might be taking interest, to have this book, is it for free or you're gonna be charging something, conveniently?
As I said, I came to Juba here to knock on doors. Even production alone is still a problem to us, because I was not having the resources to produce many copies. But I am trusting God to see if we can produce 1,000 copies for now.
How many do you have so far?
Right now, I have 3 copies.
Oh my God.
Now I have 3 copies. 3 copies of this book, because I lack the resources of producing more. But I'm so much hopeful and trusting God that come that day of the launch, God will provide and open a way that we will get these copies, the 1,000 copies. And these 1,000 copies, I pray that these individuals should be able to get them. Thank you.
Maybe finally, maybe you love, if you can have a message that you love to pass to people who might be following you, or be it about the book that you're going to launch, or be it about your orphanage at the same time, if there is a message that you want to echo out to stakeholders.
And whosoever is watching me, if you have an opportunity, if you see anybody struggling in your community, if you see any struggling on the street, help rescue one. You don't know whom you are rescuing today. Give him education if you have the opportunity. Share the little you have. Tomorrow will be another story. And we want to see that we are able to establish free primary, secondary, vocational boarding schools for these children. Because we don't want these children to be disconnected from the community. So that holidays times, we connect them back to the communities so that we are able to connect them back to where they are. And then my call to our people is, we need to wake up and stand for the children. Wake up. Let's help these children now. When we don't help them now, these children are going to become terrorists. In this book, chapter 13 of my book is titled, "The Gun I Never Fired." Because when I was on the street, I thought that maybe my relatives, because they don't love me, I want to become a soldier. When I become a soldier, I want to go back to the village and clear everybody that I know, because they are the reason as to why I was suffering. But I thank God that today I've never fired that gun. I've never taken that. These children on the streets, if they are not helped now, you don't know what is ringing in their mind. Tomorrow, if you don't want to help this child now, this is the same child who is going to come and rob you. This is the same child who is going to come and take what you have. Let's save this country from its state currently. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic, for having you. It has been really so inspiring, and to know more about your story, inshallah, to have you some other time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, viewer, thank you so much for following. This is still your program, that is My Story, and I've been Prince Juk. Remember, this program comes live every Friday, exactly from 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm out.